good stitch. Is it that one? That looks familiar. Yeah. Is it stitched? Do they not have a... Seem to have a... like... I copied that. Sorry for bothering you. I want to offer promotion of the channel. Viewers, no. I didn't know how to delete it. Doodly doo. You're still connecting. No, Over. Hello, everyone. I'm back. I'm not even going to tell you how awful it's been, but I probably will. It's been like a month and a bit. I haven't been here for ages. So, anyway, hello. If you don't know who I am, I'm Pluis Frog. I haven't been here since March. I apologise for anyone on YouTube who was like, she said she'd be back on Thursday. I didn't come back. Our house basically just well, not the house itself, but the garden decided to destroy itself, and we haven't been able to do anything. Then my daughter was off for 2 weeks, and then she was ill for a week. It's just been hell. This is my first day streaming. I tried to stream last week and my computer decided it couldn't remember how to stream anymore. I'm hoping this is recording. I don't actually know if anyone's listening. Today we're playing Stitch because I downloaded this game when it came out on Switch a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to be honest, I found it quite useful to de-stress with because I have been quite stressed because there's the house and everything's just slowly trying to destroy itself. So sorry, I'm speaking really quick because I've hello everyone. We're playing Stitch today, which is a game in which you basically solve puzzles to fill in embroidery hoops, and then you get to collect them and look at them and stuff like that. So I've obviously got my I've obviously got my own game on my personal account, but I thought I would restart it honestly because I wasn't sure if it would show what my personal name was, and I don't really want people knowing that. It's bad enough when I accidentally flag my child out, but right, so we need to fill in 2 cells. Yes, so I really like this game. I love the aesthetic. I really like the way it looks. I like the fact that it goes. So I've done this bit before, so I'll probably be quite quick at this. I normally have it not docked, is it? That's where it is now. I normally use it handheld. That's the word I'm looking for. I normally use it handheld, and I use the touchscreen. You will find occasionally that I accidentally touch the wrong thing. I do have an itchy trigger finger. But I hope everybody's doing fine. I am sorry it's taken so long. I did try to keep everyone updated. If you don't have my Zitter account or Twitter or whatever it is. Sorry, I was just checking that everyone could hear me. I was updating on there occasionally when I got chance. It's just been pretty bad. For those of you, oh dear, I don't need a hint. I know what I'm doing. She said. For those of you who didn't read my Twitter, we had our so those of you who watched my last videos will know that I was taking a break because my daughter was going to be home and I had my friends' children visiting. So because I had them coming to visit and one of them has to stay in my stream room or in the office, that he obviously couldn't be in here if I was busy. Oh, that's nice. So obviously he couldn't stay in here and restream. So I took the week off to look after them because obviously their daddy had to go to work. Oh, what's this? Oh, frog. And then my daughter was home for 2 weeks, so they came to stay. Everything was lovely. But towards the end of their stay, we noticed that the toilet was getting a bit harder to flush, shall we say, and it was getting quite difficult. And I just blamed the fact that these new children had come into my house and they were obviously breaking my toilet. So they left, and then Easter Monday, with heavy, heavy rain. England has basically had 2 months of torrential rain. And that's when I went to look outside, because we have chickens in the bottom of the garden, for those of you who don't know. We have chickens at the bottom of the garden. I was a bit concerned, because I just wanted to make sure that the chickens were alright. So I'm peeping out at the chickens, and I'm thinking, why is there a fountain coming out of the middle of our garden? We don't normally have a fountain in the middle of our garden. No, you're correct. We don't normally have a fountain in the middle of our garden. Well, it turns out that fountain, as we discovered 2 weeks after it actually started happening, because it took them so long to sort it out, was because a sewer was leaking directly back into our sewer. So we can't, as you do in this country, you contact the water company because they're responsible for the sewers. we rang them on the Monday. They finally came the Wednesday while it was still pouring into my garden. They sort of dithered around and were like, oh, I don't really think it's to do with us because it's private, it's to do with you. And we were like, well, that doesn't seem right. That seems like maybe this would be your problem. And they were like, no. Oh. And the amount of sewage and stuff that was coming out of this this hole in the garden, there was no way we were providing it, okay? And I was like, are you sure? And they're like, no, this isn't us. This is your fault. You need to hire someone. You need to prove to us that this is our fault. Okay. So I'll call a guy and he's like, well, that doesn't sound this a private guy. And he was like, it doesn't sound like this is your fault. This sounds like this is their fault. But we'll still come out. You know, it cost us money to pay for this man to come out. But good for him, though. He came out. But he didn't come out till the Friday. So at this point, we'd now had this for 5 days. And it was still pouring into the garden. And it was clear it wasn't us. Because we weren't putting any water into the system at this point. We hadn't done any washing. We were going to a laundrette. We weren't flushing any toilet paper down the toilet, which I know sounds disgusting if you come from a place where you just flush it. My parents live in a country where you can't flush the toilet paper, so we just got used to bagging it up when we visit them, so we were just doing that. And then it just goes in the bin, and then obviously, you know, council take it away and do whatever it is that they do with it. So we were doing that, but it was still pouring toilet paper into our garden. We were pretty sure at this point that it was nothing to do with us, because, you know, how's it going to be to do with us if we're not putting anything into the system? So the guy comes, and he's like, yeah, I think there's a crack in the pipe on the other side of the wall, which means that's nothing to do with you. So out they come. So I ring them up, and they're like, oh, well, we've already determined it's not our fault. And I'm like, no, if you read the report, it clearly states that we had to prove it was your fault. Well, I've done that now, so you need to come out and sort it. Oh, yeah, we already decided it wasn't our fault. And I'm like, no, that's not the way it works, because we still got sewage leaking into our garden, and I've proved it's not on my side, so you need to come sort it out. This guy got quite grumpy and started shouting. And I was like, don't you shout at me when you don't have sewage leaking into your garden. So that was the Friday. They didn't come out again to see us until the next Friday. So remembering at this point, it started on the Monday. So we had another Monday and then the Friday. It took them nearly 2 weeks to finally come out. And I was ringing every day being like, hi, it's getting worse. When are you going to come out? Anyone come in? Anyone come in? Anyone? No one came. No one came. So they finally turn up, and the guy takes one look at the hole, which I might point out at this point is getting much, much bigger, pouring out. And he's like, that's a lot of water coming out of the bottom of your, coming out your garden. And we're like, yeah, we know. And he's like, well, this clearly isn't anything. Are you putting any water into the system right now? And I'm like, no, we've done it. And I showed him all the receipts of the proof that we'd been going to, like, oopsie daisy, to laundrettes to do all our washing. And I showed them the fact that we were having to, well, not showed them, but I told them we were having to take our daughter to family members' houses to actually bathe her. And he was like, oh, yeah, that's not right. This isn't you. And I'm like, oh, so you can tell it's not us. Could you? So we explained that the previous people who had come had basically gone, this is your fault. And he was like, yeah, this clearly isn't your fault. And I was like, oh, that's nice to know that somebody believes it's not our fault. So that's got to go that way, isn't it? Means that goes this way and that goes this way. But yeah, so he turns up and he's like, right, we're going to get this sorted for you because this clearly isn't your fault. There's so much stuff here. It's clear it's not coming from just your house. But as far as we're aware, you don't share a drain. So those of you who don't live in England, the water companies that we pay to get our water from are now responsible for the sewers and the fresh water that we get. But they're not responsible if it's a private drain. So they are not responsible for the drain that is on your property unless you share a drain with your next door neighbour. So for example, if your next door neighbour's toilet drains into underneath your garden and then goes underneath your garden into another next door's garden and then goes out into the road. They are responsible for that. That's them. We didn't have that because our house is much older than all of the other houses on our road. So ours goes directly out to the road, which is why they were confused. Because if we go directly out to the road and none of our other neighbours are having an issue, where is everyone else's sewage coming from if it's not us? 12 hours they were here, and they finally discovered it at 9 o'clock at night. My daughter was already in bed at this point, remembering now that it's the end of the Easter holidays, and she has not been able to go out at all because every time we tried to go out somewhere, Southern Water were like, yeah, we might turn up. Sorry, I didn't mean to say Southern Water. The water company said that they were going to turn up, and they didn't. So she had no Easter holiday because we couldn't go out, and they have made the same promise every weekend since and have still not come out to sort anything. So anyway, they get the initial thing sorted. Turns out, massive fatberg. If you don't know what fatberg is, you can Google it. It will creep you out. But it's basically the reason why we get told not to flush anything other than the 3 Ps down toilets, and why we're told not to flush like paint. Excuse me. Fat and stuff like that through down into our drains. So like when they say like collect fat from like cooking your chicken, you've had a bit too much fat, don't tip it down the drain, tip it into a pot, wait till it sets, throw it in the bin. Because it congeals and it gathers in areas and joins together with things that people flush that they shouldn't do, like protection that people use to not have babies but don't realise you mustn't flush down toilet. That's why it goes in bin. Or J-Watt cloths, as it turns out. Who flushes J-cloths? If you're flushing J-cloths, you stop that right now. The only things that go down the toilet are the 3 Ps. Pee, poo and paper. If you're flushing anything else, for shame on you. But anyway, so they finally come out, they sort it, and they're like, this is our fault, we take responsibility for this. Cool, it is your fault, you should take responsibility for this. The next day, we get a big tanker guy come in, and he's like, hey, we're here to clean it up, because this is disgusting, and it's contaminated, and we need to sort it out. Yeah, you do. So they come and sort it out, and they say to us, okay, well, that's sorted. I don't know what's happening with everything else. And we're like, look, they've already taken responsibility. Clearly, this isn't our fault. This is their issue. Now, that was the end of the Easter holidays. My daughter's now been back at school for several weeks, and we're still waiting for them to come finish, because they told us they would like to camera the pipe that they found in the bottom of our garden, which shouldn't be there, which was the reason. So the fatberg had basically got so big in the main drain, which has nothing to do with us, that it had basically backed up the sewer to us. We are the only people on our spur. The only people. So we were the only people having any issues. Because we were such an old house, we were the only people on this spur. What happened was the fatberg was right in the middle, and it pushed everything back up into our garden, which was just, lovely, wonderful. Always wanted that. Which is the reason why they were confused in the first place, because they were like, well, this shouldn't be happening because, you're the only people in your system. But as it turns out, the fatberg was basically like a giant plug that had just like jammed itself in, which was lovely. So they came back, they cleaned. That was a Saturday, and we've been waiting ever since for them to come out and finish the rest of it. They would like to camera the pipe because they want to know where it goes. They want to know why it's there in the first place. And they also want to they also need to fill in the hole that they had to dig into my garden and broke the pipe that they found in the first place. But every time I ring up, they're like, yes, we'll book an appointment for you. It will be done soon, blah, blah, blah. These people never come. Don't believe them. They don't come. They never come. That has to be. So they never turn up. They never come. My assumption is that goes that way. That way. Work, is it? They never come. So I rang up for the last time last week because at this point my husband's like, no, putting in a complaint. So we finally ring up, and they're like, oh no, it says here that you were told that it's your fault now. Oh, you have to sort it out. And I'm like, if it's my fault and we're supposed to sort it out, why do you keep telling me that they're going to come visit? And she's like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, well, this is great. So now I'm sat here after ringing them on Wednesday, still waiting for them to come out. And I was like, I can't actually keep taking more and more time off, because at the end of the day, I actually miss streaming because I enjoy playing games and having people watch. And actually being able to play games and not feel like I'm argumentatively stressed constantly. This is how I found this game, because my life has been so stressful at the moment that I've started playing this game, and it is lovely, and it's just calm. For those of you who don't know, because I can't remember if I've ever spoken about it, I love to sew. I used to, and still do when I have time, make plushies. And I know it seems quite difficult with tiny little hands, but yeah, I do. So when they were like, this is like embroidery, I was like, I don't really like puzzle games. I'm not good at puzzle games. I'm a bit rubbish at them. And then I bought it. I don't think it was terribly expensive. And then I've just sat here the whole time being like, I really quite like this game. And it's been honestly a blessing, so I'm enjoying it. Tired. Problem is, I was trying to fill the gap because I didn't want to start anything. I know I should be playing Paleo Pines, and some of you are probably like, excuse you promised you play Paleo Pines. I did. Paleo Pines I really like, and it has a really sweet aesthetic, but I was getting really irritated and bored with it the last time I played it. And the problem is I don't want to rag on the game because I did like the game, but I'm over it. It's been like 2 months at this point. I'm over it. I can't be playing it anymore. And it's a shame because it was a really, really lovely game. Ooh. I can't anymore. Right, what do I have to do now? Complete one hoop from the beginners. Let's do the cupcake. I don't want to play a game and be like, I don't really want to play this anymore. Because the problem is it's not the game's fault. It's me. The pen management. I was actually reading like people online being like, does anybody else really hate the pen management? And I was like, oh my god, yes. So I've been watching a lot of people play it. Obviously I'm still waiting for the Stardew Valley patch. When Stardew Valley comes out, I'll be playing that. The people who made Roots of Patra have just announced loads of stuff. I'm still waiting for Coral Island to be updated. I'm still waiting for Moonstone Island to come out. I've got a whole list. Kinseed, Winds of Anthem. I've got loads of stuff. I need to rub Paleo Pines. Sunhaven. That's another thing. As some of you may or may not know, my husband was going to buy me a brand new computer for my birthday, which was back in March. Well, it's hard to buy new things to like a big expensive computer when you end up having to bail out the fact that you have to fix your garden. So we will be playing Switch games until basically I can afford to buy myself a new computer, which at this point I don't know when it will be. But if everyone's alright watching Switch games. Nope. Probably. This game is quite good as well because it does show you basically sometimes where the thing goes. It's whether or not you actually pay attention. Oh. Okay. So in the time that I wasn't here, I basically spent most of my time just in an anxiety state waiting for anybody to actually come help us. When that didn't happen, I got a little bit angrier, and then we wrote a complaint, and we're now waiting for them to accept the fact that it was their fault in the first place. I played Graveyard Keeper. I really enjoyed that. I didn't complete it because it just takes effort. I don't know. I became very aware very quickly I was very bad at the fighting when I was like dying all the time. But I did enjoy it. It was an interesting, different take on a farming game. I wouldn't say it was cozy because there's like corpses and stuff, but it was alright. What else did I play? Oh, that was my next one. What's my next challenge? 70 cells. Tell me. Complete 2 extra small hoops. Okay, I think this is an extra. What was I played this. I've sort of just been sat here. Oh, and I've been watching a lot of people play GTA Online RP. Just because... Honestly, because the people that we watch are quite funny and I just needed to laugh. That sounds really awful. I just needed to laugh. So I've been watching a lot of like people play that because it's funny. It's like watching a soap opera except it's all in a game. So I've just been watching that and just watching other people. I can't. And I've been playing this and I've been tidying the house because I can't go in the garden because obviously it's still contaminated. We can't let the chickens out because it's still contaminated. So we've been having to sort that out. My family are coming to visit soon, so I've been having to sort that out. It's just a... It's just been one of those things. I just saw a big purple flash across there. I don't know what that... I do apologise. I don't know if that's going to record that or not. But yeah. I hope everybody else has been having a nice time. I know I have a few people on YouTube and stuff that watch this as something to do while they're little ones. I do apologise that I haven't been giving you much content, or any content really. It was quite difficult. The problem is every time I tried to stream, they were like, we're going to come visit today. And then of course they didn't. So nothing got done. Because I couldn't get anything done. Because every time they promised they were going to come visit, they never did. Yeah, it was been a bit crap actually. It's been pretty bad. Yeah, some of these puzzles is it's getting your brain over the fact that I want a difference. That you think they should all be blocks. Right, what was it? An extra small. What is that? A family car. Oh, I see. I thought it was a tank. That doesn't look right. I do apologise. I'm going to be back. Strangely enough, I won't be back tomorrow because it's Wednesday and I still have my friend... Well, I still have my sister-in-law come over with the little one. That hasn't changed. My life has still been just as busy, I just haven't been streaming, which I did as my thing to like play games so I can actually play games and talk to people. I haven't been able to do that because I've just been too busy. So I've still been having my nephew and my sister-in-law to visit. I mean, to be fair, one of the days I was so upset, she actually took me out and we went to an Asian shop to, not an Asian, that's what it's called. It basically sells like really lovely Oriental food and stuff like that. From Eastern side, so it's got like a Chinese, Vietnamese, Japanese, stuff like that. Really, really lovely. So we both bought lots of snacks, and then my daughter really likes loves senbei and stuff like that. She likes to take them in her lunchbox because it makes her feel fancy. But I actually wasn't able to get any from there. What did I buy? I bought like these lovely little prawn crackers. Not prawn crackers, but they were like little soft dumplingy things. But they had like a floss. So if you had candy floss, it's like that, but instead of being a sweet candy, it's or sugar, it's meat. We quite often buy the pork floss and have it on top of rice as well, because that's really nice. My daughter doesn't eat it, but that doesn't really surprise anyone. I love her very much, but she's quite difficult to eat. She's difficult to get to eat food. We don't eat her. But yeah, I love her. Bless her. She's been struggling as well, because obviously we had to go through a stage where we had to take her to other people's houses to have baths. Obviously, their water's different. She was like, I don't really like this, mummy. And I'm like, that's fine. And then we had to take all our clothes to the laundrette. And obviously, they don't use the same laundry soap that we do because the one that we went to is like a big one, and we couldn't ask for like non-bio stuff. So she was like, it keeps making my skin feel scratchy, and I'm like, oh no, there's nothing mummy can do about it. She's like, I don't like this. It's making my skin scratchy. So thankfully, we can use it all now. So it took me a whole week to catch up on the amount of washing that we had. It was a bit of a nightmare, if I'm going to be honest. And do you know what makes it even better? That I have been away for 2 months. I came on and my first message this morning, my first person that spoke in my chat was a chatbot that was trying to get me to get free assets. And chatbots being like, hey, do you want to pay for views? I'm just like, do you know what? Fuck it, no. So I just banned them. Can't make this shit up. It's just like, oh, I could be gone for like months and people are like, do you want that stuff? No. You've got to appreciate the tenacity. But at the same point, be like, for God's sake, no. Yeah, I have been trying to find other games to play as well. Verbs that I said. I looked up Whisker Falls, like a fishing game but with cats. I watched the guy that I watch on YouTube, Josh's Gaming, play. And it just looked more complicated than I'm willing to play at the moment. And what I'd really like to be playing is Echoes of the Plum Grove, because that looks really good. And Stardew Valley, obviously, but I can't play that either. But I'm very tempted to boot up a game tomorrow on my PC and then do like a test stream to see if it can handle OBS VTuber Studio and playing a game as well. I don't think it's going to cope, honestly. I think it might break. Also, then I'd have to figure out how to... I only have 2 screens. I have one that's plugged into my Switch, which is the one that I'm currently... the one I look at with my webcam on the top, which is why you can see me. I keep looking at my clock and it's like 10 to 10. That's not right. And then I've realised it's because we haven't actually changed that, because obviously the clocks changed in the UK during Easter. And obviously where we've been so busy, we just haven't done anything. Do most families travel with a surfboard? Because I don't think I've ever travelled with a surfboard. I thought I did too. Oh, I did. Yay! What do I need to do now? 15 levels within any hoop you prefer. Okay. Let's do... Oh, it's a brain twister. Try that one. Oh, give me 5 seconds. Ready, family. I am still here. Sorry, I was just, my sister sent me a message. Right, a brain teaser one, is it? Tis it? I really like the noise in this one. I like the music. I like the fact it's like... You actually hear it like... When I sew, there's a lot more swearing and stabbing of fingers. I'm really... Sorry, I can hear like a foghorn. Yep, it's because it's a foghorn. Okay, sorry, there's a foghorn going off. There must be a cruise ship going out. No, that's not 5. The only problem... I've always lived near the dock, so it doesn't affect me. Yeah, it doesn't really affect me listening to the... That's going to have to go that way. Yeah, it doesn't affect me having to listen to the foghorns. I remember when my husband and I first moved in together, That's really noisy. I was like, yeah, it is. But then I've always lived here, always. So it makes... so it makes no difference to me if I can hear stuff like that. Same as like I've always lived near the train tracks as well. Not anymore, but I did. That doesn't look right. My assumption is that that goes across. Okay, I mean it does, but that, a 4. So a 3 like that, 4 like that, 6 like that, and a 4 like that. There you go. I'm not really good at puzzle games. But sometimes I can figure it out. Sorry, rubbing my eye. Right. Sometimes it's quite interesting to try and figure out where it should be going. Oh, goodness gracious me. I'm sorry if you heard that. That was me kicking the box that's under my table. So I use it as like a footstool. Two, 3. Sorry, the foghorn's still going off. Can hear it in the background. I'm sorry if you... I don't know if you should be able to hear it. You shouldn't be able to hear it. Quite loud. Ooh. Fuck does that. That goes up. Sometimes it's quite good to like try and get them to match up. There we go. I don't know if there's multiple ways to solve some of these problems, or if you can only solve them certain ways. Because obviously I haven't seen many people talking about this online. I know it came out on mobile first, I think. That's got okay. I know it came out on mobile first. Sorry, keep wiggling. Sit in the chair anymore. Forgotten how uncomfortable it was for my little froggy bum. Okay. Oh god, now I'm stuck. Unfortunately, the table has been arranged since my nephew came. Because he was like, can I store stuff on your table? And I was like, of course you can. And I think he might have moved stuff. So of course things have moved and I'm just like, well, I don't remember where they were because it's been so long. No, that's a 3, isn't it? So I might try. That's the other thing. So I've come back, and I'm having to use OBS to. I'm having to use OBS to change all my scenes because I do have a stream deck, but for some reason it's not working. I'm pushing the buttons and it's just like no. So I was like, this is alright. I can sort this. I don't need my husband for this. So I went into the thing like there's actually like a stream deck app. It keeps saying. Waiting for OBS. I was like, okay, so I closed OBS, opened OBS again, and they're still not connecting, so I don't know what I've done. What is a marathon? Sorry, I said animals, and then I saw the that And I was just like, they don't look like animals. And then I realised it's because it's the one underneath. Retro. Is that a floppy disk? Oh my gosh, it's a floppy disk. I don't remember. Are floppy disks red? I think I've only ever used dark blue ones. There must have been other colours, surely. It's all about dem floppy disks. Remember my granddad had some of the ones that were like cassettes. When we wanted to play a game, we had to like rewind them completely. It was a different time. Bless him, he loved computers, he really did. And he'd been like into them since like the 80s, so it was like the really, really old computers that looked like they should have flown spaceships. And he loved, he did buy a PC, but he didn't really have much knowledge about PCs. He pretended he did, bless him. But he used to take my brother, who's the one down from me, to what was called Computer Club. And all it did was teach my brother how to download things illegally. Because all these little old men were like, oh, Windows 95, that's really cool. Not paying for it though. So all it did was just teach this child how to just download all this stuff illegally. He doesn't do that anymore, as far as I'm aware. Oh, it just made me chuckle. He used to get lots of copies of games and stuff. I remember he had a floppy disk. I can't remember if it was a floppy disk or a CD. It might have been a floppy disk. That had, I think it was a floppy disk of like it must have been Game Boy Advance ROMs, because he had like the old Dragon Quest game on it, and it was this was a long time ago. That was the first experience we'd ever had of like one of the Dragon Quest games. It was Dragon Quest Monsters. I remember my mum was like, "Where have you got these games from?" And he was like, "Oh, Granddad." Oh, okay. It turns out one of the guys had just like stolen them off the internet and been like, "Hey kid, take this. 2 small hoops, look for the S load." Not allowed to do that anymore. Stealing all the ROMs and stuff, Nintendo get very grumpy with you. Although it did shut all the stores down, so we can't buy anything anymore. Which I know they'd been around for a long time, but I do feel that if the game is no longer available for me to access by legal means, if there is a way for me to get it and still be able to play it, because at the end of the day, if they're not willing to keep the license for it and stuff and not keep it available, I should still be able to play it. I should be able to access it in a different way. I was trying to figure out why. I'm gonna have to make sure I keep actually checking the proper time, because like I said, behind it says this stream won't be very long today, simply because where I haven't streamed for such a long time, I'm probably gonna exhaust myself. That's not right. Not right. Yeah, so tomorrow I shall try. If you don't see it, so if you come on tomorrow and I'm playing this or something else off of the Switch instead of that, it didn't work and my computer blew up. I mean, if you don't see me at all, just assume that the computer blew up. But you can find me at PluisFrog on Twitter. Or Zitter, whatever we're supposed to call it now. I can't. Whatever we're supposed to pretend it's called now. If for some reason I'm ever not here, whether you're watching this as a VOD on Twitch or whether you're watching this on my YouTube, and you don't see any content for a few days and you get a bit suspicious and you're worried, well, there should be content, check my Twitter. I didn't update very often, but when I could update, I was updating. It was Nope. So when I was updating, I did try to update people because it's rude. Also, I know what it's like to watch a streamer and have them completely disappear and be like, "Where are you?" So if you are ever in doubt of where I am, I do have a Twitter, and you can look on there. And I mean, if I go live, I almost definitely post. For a long time, I was at the point where I was like, do I post? Are people even going to care? I actually had to make a Twitter for it, so. But yes. Doodly doo. I can't do 4 that way, so 4 has to be this way. Can't do 4 that way. That means that goes that way. That can go that way, so right, I can't count. Yeah, there will probably be a test stream tomorrow because obviously my sister-in-law still comes tomorrow. So I will. I've got to use my tadpole thing either. I still do it if I press it. There you go, there's my tadpole girl. That's my baby. Because she was like, "Mummy, I can't wait. I get to be a tadpole." And then we never got to do anything because we just waited the whole time for, I think their shit, right? For them to actually come figure out their shit. And it never worked. They never came. No one tells you how stressful it is, like owning a house till there's sewage flowing in your garden. Like, that has to go that way because it can't go that way because there's a 3 in the way. Sometimes I can figure out puzzles. That has to do that. She said, and then was like, "Oh well, that has to go down." I shall try to do sort of I'll try and see if I can do it later. So if you see like a really short, you won't see it on YouTube, unless it goes well. But if on Twitch you see like a really short, like 10-minute or something stream, it's me just trying to see if my computer's not going to go. I mean, today I turned it on because obviously I don't leave it on if I can help it because it's old. So I booted it up this morning. I meant to do it last night. More for me. And then it was like, got a Windows update. And I was like, oh, fantastic. Every time I get a Windows update, it takes like 4 hours to complete. And then I'm sat here going, well, I could have streamed today if I'd only turned it on the night before. But it seems to be all right. And obviously, no one said anything otherwise. Whoops, didn't mean to do that one. I thought that the mechanic to do the sewing would be hard. It's quite hard to do it handheld because it's easier to touch the screen. But the clicking and the dragging is actually quite fun. I really like this game. It's such a nice calming game, which I guess was the whole point of it. like Sprout Valley. I really like that as well. I just need to actually play that again. I've been trying to find Winds of Anthos for cheap enough, but it's still like £55 for everything with the if I want to buy it with the DLC, which I would do, although I do begrudge having to I do begrudge having to pay a DLC of the best tier tools, because I do feel that should have been in the game. I've been trying to find a good deal on it so I can actually play. I think I might just have to buy it disc version off it, and I might buy the PlayStation 5 version because my husband's just finished the Yakuza game that came out in February? Time. I know everyone's going to go, well, that took ages. We take a long time playing games normally because we don't really get a long time to play. When you have small people in your house, you quite often, legally you should be paying attention to them. Because if you don't pay attention to them, they quite often get into mischief. Or, eat stuff they're not supposed to. We're lucky with ours. She's pretty chill. And we have been playing a lot more board games, because obviously where I couldn't stream, I was like, I need to play a game. And there's only so much GTA RP I can watch before I start talking in the accent of the people that we watch. I don't know. So we've been playing some board games. What did we play? On earth is that other hoop? What is that? A prison. It's like a prison from Prison Architect. Oops. What did we play? I'm trying to remember. We played... Oh, Keys to the Castle, which is a game that she got a couple of years ago from my mum for Christmas, in which you have to put down like a 6x6 grid of like dungeon squares, and then you each pick a side, and then you slowly go across to the other side using your keys to unlock the doors. She likes that one. We played that. What else did we play? We played Harvest Time or Harvest Day or something like that, which is like a farming game, surprisingly, in which you have to go that way. Feed your animals, basically. So you get given a farm, and you need to feed your animals. Right. The annoying thing is the 6 has to be a shape. It has to be. Either goes like this. It's the 4. 4 can only go this way or there. Alright, my brain doesn't work sometimes. I think that's normally the cue that it's probably time for me to finish. So plans going ahead. I'm going to test the stream and see if I can get it to actually... If I can get my laptop to actually play games, I might download Echoes of the Plum Valley because that looks really fun. I just love the idea that it's a multi-generational game, because I've never played one like that before, because normally I get really upset if you die. But if the whole point is that it's multi-generational, I kind of like that idea. Also, I like the fact that it's set in like... a time when you can get diseases and stuff. I think it's quite funny. I mean, the guy I watched play ended up getting smallpox. He ended up getting smallpox. Oh, he went to go visit the people that visit the town. And one of the people on their boat was sick. And he didn't realise and spoke to him and ended up getting sick. He got consumption. Which I think we might call tuberculosis nowadays. That's what she died of in Moulin Rouge. And she was coughing into the hanky, being like, I'm dying. That's what she had. Because it consumes your lungs. Oh, Moulin Rouge was such a good movie. I do love a good musical. In fact, Wicked is coming out, isn't it? Look forward to watching it. Is this? I'm going to look at it in a minute and be like, oh, that's what it is. It just looks like a prison from Prison Architect. So there is going to be like, abstract. Okay, cool. I'm already hungry. I don't even think it's that late. Say one thing for being horrendously anxious, though. You don't have to lose a lot of weight. Which isn't a good thing. But yeah, I think the window might just click. So I was just having a sip of water. But yeah, Targ isn't here today, so I have to make my own tea. Normally, if I was having a break, obviously I would go do that, but I'm going to slowly build myself back up again, because at this point I don't think the water company are coming. I think they've decided it's our fault now, which is fine. What we'll do is just pay for everything to be done and then charge them for it. I wonder if I could Twitter them and be like, dudes, excuse you. La 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 la. There you go. Excuse me. I would mute, the button's broken. Tiddly-dum. What is this? Calming, but it still doesn't help me know what it is. I've actually been playing this while watching other people stream as well, because it's... Oh, sorry, I'm yawning. I actually find it quite calming, and I needed extra stuff to help me sleep at night. But I won't take medication, only because it messes up everything else I take. Right, have we I've got another section. Okay. Right, that's gonna go that way. That's gonna go that way. That's gonna go that way. Ooh, I didn't mean to pick him, but that's fine. I am still baffled. Well, hopefully I'll unlock the panel of the week and I can do that. Okay, so the 4 can't go that way because the 2 can't get out. And or the 5. Okay, so 1 goes 1, it has to. Right. Okay. The 5 has to go down. Two goes up. I get it eventually. I think I might have forgotten to turn the vibration off as well, because every so often it feels like it's vibrating in my hand, and I don't know why. Because sorry, let me just, I'm gonna have to, I don't think I can do that. I'm gonna have to, yeah, it keeps occasionally vibrating and it's been freaking me out. And now I've noticed it's doing it, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't want to be a pie. I really need to watch the second chapter. Oh, thank God that was done. Back to the menu. Just a minute. What on earth was that hoop? Sorry, what did you say that hoop was? Doesn't have a name. Oh, there you go. I unlocked the National Limerick. Turn that off. Turn it off. Oh. Oh, that's so much better. I'm not starting that simply because it will take me hours. Right, I'm sorry. What was this hoop called? Panorama. Okay. Nope. Nope. Okay. Well, I'm going to stop stream for today because I know I haven't streamed for very long, like an hour maybe, but I still have other stuff to do today. Today's stream was basically just trying to get back into it. I still have a lot of stuff on my computer that's not working. It's actually overheating a little bit. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will upload this onto YouTube. So, hello YouTubers, how have you been? Sorry I haven't been posting any content. If you've watched all the way through, you know why. For those of you who didn't watch all the way through and fast forwarded through in the hope I might play another game, I didn't. I'm sorry. Yeah, the water companies suck. They don't sort shit out, and now I've got it in my garden, literally. So thank you very much. I'm gonna have to do it on here. Thank you very much for joining me today. I really appreciate that. I will do a test stream. If you see a test stream on Twitch, you won't see it on YouTube. It's probably because I've tried testing it. If it only looks like it lasted for 3 minutes, then my computer blew up. If it's a little bit longer than that, when it's just me sat there going, those numbers look bad, then it's probably not good. If it's like, oh, well, this works really well, then it's probably fine. So thank you very much for everyone today. Really appreciate that. I'm sorry I didn't play for very long today, but I've got quite a bit of other stuff I still need to sort out. I still have quite a lot of house stuff, because obviously when there's stuff in the garden, if you go out in the garden to sort stuff out, you bring it back into the house. So I have quite a lot of stuff I need to sort out. So thank you very much. I really appreciate everyone coming to visit today. I hope you all have lovely days. It's slightly better than mine have been. And I will speak to you all Thursday. Where's it? Yep, Thursday. I'll speak to you Thursday. Have a lovely day. I love you all. Bye. How are we doing? An update.